Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite new podcast entitled We Hate You Internet! And we back in this thing. Come on now, gather around. We can sit down and discuss another topic. You know what I'm saying? This is We Hate You Internet, a show that's fun yet informative, where we discuss and bring awareness to some of the negative effect. Goodness, tongue twister, negative
Negative effects. Oh yeah, there's kind of a
See, that's why it's good to have a
needed to do
co-host.
some.
Negative effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. My name is Wilfred Hamilton, I think, and I'm your host for today. And as well, sitting next to me is
Your co-host, Clara Aguirre.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, listen, we're not even gonna talk about that. If you watch all the episodes, you know how we've progressed with this name thing.
Yeah, we're getting better, I think.
Well, I appreciate your graciousness. You say we as if you're the one that's struggling, but it's actually one individual. It's not.
We're a team. We're a team. So
You
if
know
you're
what?
struggling,
Man, listen, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do it. I hit. Okay, straight up. Okay, so listen, man, we're gonna kind of jump into the topic, but first, I just want to take a brief moment. If you weren't aware, or you probably weren't, a lot of all the episodes up until this point have been pre-recorded, and so before we started actually putting the episodes out, publishing the episodes, we had already recorded all that stuff, and so we haven't had an opportunity yet to express our appreciation. You know what I mean? A thank you to all those who have followed us on Instagram and those who have subscribed on YouTube and followed on Facebook. We greatly appreciate the support. It was really encouraging to see the comments and just the interest in what it is that we're trying to accomplish with this platform. And so, as of this recording, we're sitting at 379 on Instagram, 45 on YouTube.
woo.
You know what I'm saying? 45 on Facebook. And though those numbers may seem small in the grand social media economy, each one is important to us because
That's a whole person. That's a whole human listening to us, So that's still something.
it is still something.
It's still something.
Straight up, man. Like I said, sincerely, we just want to say thank you so much for the support. And so, all right, we're gonna jump into this thing, man. We got a lot to cover. As previously mentioned, the episodes that you've seen before are pre-recorded, and a lot has changed in that time. So today we want to have a part 2 to Chat GPT, and we want to kind of, I guess, extend it out to just in all other AI applications, because there are so many AI programs being put out to do all kinds of things. I mean, that's just the future. That's where we're heading. So we kind of want to touch on some of the updates that have happened since our previous recording, and just kind of and then dive into and expand on some of the things that we discussed in the last episode, and add a few more new perspectives as well. And so we're looking at Chat GPT. The first version that we were introduced to a month and a half ago when we recorded was the 3.0. They made the 3.5 since then, and now they've come to 4.0. And it's really funny when you think about the advancement of technology, when you really kind of take a step back and think about in the last 100 years how far we've come technologically. It is staggering. Like, it is crazy. And so you think about cassette to CD, you know what I'm saying, to digital download, how long that took. It took about 20 years. But you think about how fast they are developing AI. When you go from 3.5 to 4, and 4 is dramatically better, or like it's much better than 3.0. But that was a month. You know what I mean? And you think about how And when you think about the implications of that, how fast that jump is before people even can realize what chat, and there's so many people that haven't even heard of chat GPT yet,
Mm-hmm.
and they've already made all these strides. You know what I mean? Uh, it's moving at such a pace that you literally can't keep up. You know, uh, about earlier this month there was a call for. I'm sure you probably saw this. There was a call for a lot of the tech leaders in the world to put a halt to the further development of AI, because it was just like, man, it's just let's kind of take a break real fast and kind of get our bearings and kind of see what we're dealing with here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a wise call. I'm sure that there may have been other uh, uh, motivations behind it other than just ethics, but
Mm-hmm.
competitive edge maybe or something like that. But nonetheless, that's one of those things that I think is really, really interesting when you're talking about um, things like this in general, right? There's always this common concept that those who are the upper echelon, so to speak, uh, that are in the know, that have the money, that have the resources, that have the connections, things of that nature. It's and those that are making decisions, it's often assumed that they know better.
Mm-hmm.
They're smart. They make good decisions. They care about the people. Like they thought about this stuff already. But what you fail to realize, they're people. They're just human beings themselves. Like they don't. They may not be thinking about everything. They may not be as smart as you think they are. Just because they got money and
Or as good, you know.
they have good intentions. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Unfortunately, sometimes people are just greedy. They just care about making money today. They're not concerned
Yeah.
about your future tomorrow, your children's future. They just worried about making that money today. It's
And realistically too, like people who are CEOs or in charge of companies or who have made their way to the top, statistically speaking, they're more likely to be psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists.
goodness.
So I mean, and this is just numbers, numbers we're talking here. It's not false accusations. It's just the truth.
Yeah, man,
So
indeed.
to assume that because someone has this, value or credentials behind them, it doesn't necessarily that those two don't relate, not necessarily that they're good people.
Indeed, and so why we bring that up, you know what I mean? It's because this technology is moving fast.
Mm-hmm.
The implementation into society is happening very quickly, and I think it's really important that you really get a grasp on uh, the things that we're talking about on this platform. Like, how do you fit into uh, this new ecosystem? You know what I'm saying? Like, and how do you? We talk about um, maintaining your humanity, right? That's what we kind of talk about. That's what this kind of whole platform is built around. Uh, and you want to look at like because because this program is designed to move at a pace that humans can't move at, right? And so when you start to really think about that and think about the implications of that, like our expectations in our society are already sky high. You know what I mean? Our sense of patience, and just the way that we expect everything to come immediately. We expect everything to be perfect, right? Now you introduce AI's performance into that mentality, then all of a sudden, man, like humans become obsolete. And I really don't like to wear tinfoil hats and like,
Mm-hmm.
get into all like,
It's fun sometimes.
I guess, man, to the vengeance country. Then you be, but but when you really think about that, like you 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 find yourself in a place where like you can't keep up as an individual. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep up with the speed that the world is moving at now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people look at AI and the destruction of the human species, and you thinking about Terminator with robots, building robots with guns, walking down the street, blasting cats with lasers. You're thinking about post-apocalyptic world, old newspaper rolling down the street. That's the image that people have in their
Yeah.
minds. But I think the thing that people really need to be focused and concerned about is the is the uh, degradation uh, uh, of human ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about robots shooting you with a gun. It's about you have become obsolete because you no longer have a place that you can operate in. If everything meant to be perfect and everything designed to be perfect and the expectation is perfection, humans will never be perfect. Now, what does that do on a human on a person's psyche? What does that do to their self-esteem? You talk about mental illness, and this is something we've touched on, right? But then you talk about the feeling of hopelessness that people feel now and how they feel overlooked or feel left out or whatever. You talk about the globe feeling.
Inadequate almost, you know.
That's the key word. What does that do to people's mentality?
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to people's self-worth? You think suicide is high now, and suicide's a terrible thing, but like, I mean, listen, you gonna be looking at a epidemic. You know what I mean? Because people will feel like useless. And there are some people that talk about, oh, well, that people have free to be able to be free thinkers and do what they want to do. They won't have to work. They can just be creative. I don't believe that. I think the opposite will happen. I think that hard work is a part of being a human being. Like the reward of your hard work is a part of your wiring, it's a part of your function. If you no longer have a goal to work for, then you lose your purpose. Then you lose your motivation to move forward. Creativity creativity sometimes comes is born out of adversity. It's born out of having a problem like ingenuity. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like finding a problem, like finding a solution to a problem. But if you no longer have problems, then you're no longer motivated to think creatively. If you talk about, okay, oh man, they want to create this, uh, I want to take this beautiful picture. AI already does all those things better than you.
Yeah.
You see what and so these are the things that will be a concern in the future. And I don't think enough attention is really being taken to that. Now, I'll digress. Clara, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very interesting perspective. You bring up great points. I think that it is a lot on humankind to take in. What I always think about when I like read about and research AI, because I wrote a little bit of a research paper on this, and one of the things that was a recurring topic when researching AI was the fact that realities begin to kind of blend,
Hmm.
because potentially you can ask chat gpt, which is one AI program. There's others,
Yeah.
there's like mid journey. That's the one that was if you'd seen that photo of ex-president Donald Trump being arrested, and there's some of him like in his orange jumpsuit. It's a false
Tatted up.
photo. Yeah, getting a tattoo. It's
La, la, la,
it's
la, la.
it's not a real photo, but it looks so
Yeah.
realistic. And there are others like the Pope looking like he's gonna drop the meanest rap album. It looks very realistic.
So,
It's but you know what? As funny as it is, when you look at like the darker sides of things, like recently there was a video of President Zelensky in Ukraine that was created using AI, asking his Ukrainian citizens to put down their arms and to surrender to the Russians.
Mm.
The video was fake,
yeah.
and it was created by the Russian government. But when you start to like think about it in that way, like this tool can potentially be used to navigate the fate of a country. Like that's some crazy stuff. And because it's used to create a false reality, it is like a simulation, not even in an exaggerating sense, but it's the truth. Like you can. So let me go back to it a little bit, but like ChatGPT, right?
Mm.
Since that's been what we've been talking about, you could write a paper with ChatGPT as to why coffee is so beneficial for you. Oh, coffee is good for your heart, and it will write you the perfect essay. the perfect essay, the perfect research paper. But then you can also ask it, why is coffee bad for you? And it will also write you the perfect essay. So I just feel like it's difficult because it's very fabricated. It is artificial, you know? AI, artificial intelligence. It's made up, and potentially, I mean, I think that's kind of what comes to my mind when I started thinking about this, because it's like, where do you cross the line? How do you start to differentiate reality from something fake? And if we live in a world where we're glued to our phones, like, people don't leave the room without their phone, or leave
Mm.
their house, god forbid, right? Like, they freak out. But you live in a world where people have their phone attached to their hand, attached to their hip, and they're consuming this media, they're consuming this, and you have the public who has access to tools of this caliber, to technology of this caliber. It is a little frightening, and I can see why tech leaders like Elon Musk and the I think it was the CEO of Apple
Mm.
asking for a pause, not necessarily to stop, but for a pause to kind of evaluate, like, the way that they want to move about this. Because, I mean, I've been seeing this quote a lot on the internet, like in the comment sections and stuff, because I got my Instagram now. I'm getting into the internet a little more, but
Wading the shallow
yeah.
water.
I got my floaties on though in the show.
She out here.
Yeah, trying, but a comment that I see a lot, and it's funny, really, but it's like, you need to go touch some grass. It's funny because in some ways it's like, you know what? Yeah, sometimes people do need to go touch some grass, because it's like, what? I mean, it's just so much you're consuming. It's so much that you're seeing from every point, and at some point you got to disconnect. At some point you have to, because if you don't, like, I think you won't feel it at that moment, and I don't think you'll realize that you're feeling it, but you'll experience that burnout, and you'll experience that exhaustion, and maybe even that anxiety, because it's a lot. You're taking in a lot, and you don't notice it because you're just scrolling, liking, share. You know what I mean? You're in it. You're in the motion, and I think that's why. Not to get into something else, but I think that's why people kind of struggle being bored too. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know how to sit still and be bored. But with
Similar
AI,
topic.
yeah, with AI, I just think it's that's kind of what scares me. And to add something else, AI, it's been something that's it's been around for some time, not a lot, but the public hasn't had access to this. And there used to be, like, back in 2020, around the time of the pandemic, um, the Russian government used AI bots to interfere with the election here in the United States, and they also used it to. And I read this in the Wall Street Journal. I don't remember the name of the article, but if people like, we can always add it, or
In the show
share it.
notes. Put in the show notes.
Yeah. So, but anyways, at this time, they used artificial intelligent bots to argue with each other. And this is very interesting. I love talking about this, but they created AI profiles of extreme political parties. So the extreme left and the extreme right. Like, they created these fake profiles, and they would spread false information about the vaccine, about COVID. They would share it with each other, and then they would get into these really hostile arguments. So then what would happen is the real people with real profiles, and they would interact, and they would also start to argue. But when you would click on these bot pages, it would just, like, it would be empty. There would be no information. The other friends would be other bots, and it's false. And then you think to yourself, okay, well, why would the Russian government do that? Well, for it's plain as day. They want you to argue. They want that
Dissension.
hostility. Yeah,
Dissension. Yeah.
they're trying to create this
Division.
fabricated, environment of hostility and anger, so that it can, cause some problems.
Internal fracturing.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I think that that's something that it's like an issue that you didn't see coming when you create AI. I don't think people thought to themselves that, or maybe they did. Who knows what the intention was? But
I
I
doubt it.
think that it's kind of like those things that it's a symptom of it, because then you also start thinking about like one thing that terrifies me too, and we've talked about it before, but like the deep fakes in pornography. You could essentially make fake pornography of anyone you just so please, and you can create those videos. There was a young lady who experienced that. She used to stream on Twitch, and someone who she thought was her friend made the images and shared it, and she minding her business, people are sending these to her, and that's frightening.
Yeah.
That's very frightening. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I just think that it's people need to go touch some grass.
Touch
We need to, for our sake, for our humanity. It's what's gonna keep us okay, not to like
grounded.
fear monger, but yeah, we gotta stay grounded. We gotta stay grounded because man, it's just too much. It's too much information from all ends of the spectrum, and I think that can be kind of that can be a lot for a person.
Indeed. Man, that's good stuff. You touched on the deep fake thing, and that was something that I was debating if I wanted to discuss or not. Because I think that there is a real there's a real danger with that technology. And put in the wrong hands. And I'm not like an anti-government person, but I do realize that the government is run by people, and people don't always have the best
Mm-hmm.
intentions, especially in the more disconnected people are from other people as far as like
Mm.
class and stuff like that. Um,
Money, money,
the
money.
less, yeah, the less they value another person's humanity or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. They just think, oh well, they don't know no better. They don't know no
That's
better.
true.
They're just sheep or like the masses they look at. They don't look
Yeah.
at people. And I can get some of the perspectives one way or the other, but whatever. Yeah, I'll get into that. But I mean, you think about the implications of the use of AI in that way, as far as deep fake, with the images, with the audio, because you seeing these songs coming out with AI being used, and
Yeah, I've heard a few.
the so silly. We talked about that yesterday. They told you was jamming that
the
Drake Munch.
the Drake Munch song.
You was jamming that joint, huh? So he had him in his feelings.
Yeah.
Had him in his feelings about it. Was
He
he
even
liked
said,
that?
"What? This is enough. That's enough."
Wait a
Something like.
minute.
I don't remember this.
I'm
That
not.
wasn't supposed to come out. No.
I said, I'm not. Wait a minute. I didn't authorize this. But
Yeah.
no, but I mean, you start thinking about then you start to think about, and it, like I said, it's concerning, right? It really is. Like, you can think about that if somebody wants to set you up, they can
Mm.
put you at any place at
Mm-hmm.
any time. They have your face. They use your voice. They can create a whole. They can just like. They can create um, evidence to charge you with anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't comply in whatever way that they want you to comply, like they can put you anywhere doing anything at any
Mm.
time,
Mm-mm.
and you don't have the technology to fight that. Like that. I mean,
Unless you get
that's
a
a
Chat GPT lawyer.
man,
No.
call them. But then they got that
Don't steal my idea.
they got that Chat GPT Ultimo. You know what I'm saying? You can't compete with that. It's like that movie, a Real Steel. You know what I'm saying? They out there fighting, but you ain't got the buddy, got that real robot. They got some different technology. You can't handle that stuff. You got yours off the scrap heap. Anyway, but no, I mean, like I said, you think about those implications, and like, man, it that's where the ethics part of this thing has to
Yeah.
really come into play. Or like I said, you can create the perfect alibi for somebody. You could put
That
a
is
video, a person can get away
true.
with whatever they want to get away with, and they can have their face. They can put them anywhere at any time doing anything with their face and that voice, and like, here's the footage right here. I was here,
Yeah.
but they weren't. That's AI. You know what I'm saying? And because I don't like to get into that, because I really don't like to fearmonger. All those things are just ideas. I mean,
But I think
obviously,
it's valid though. Like you can't. I think these are valid concerns, and we can't just brush it off because to connect to your point, like um, there's a group that I follow, and one of the things that and it's a woman's group, and one of the things they talk about that frightens them is the fact that, well, what if evidence is admissible because someone says, "Oh, that's not real. Like I didn't actually do that. That was created by AI." You know, especially when it comes to like sexual assault
Mm-hmm.
or rape or even more violent crimes. You know, like that's a genuine fear. Like, oh, I didn't actually do that. That was AI. Like I don't know who.
Yeah.
It is a valid reason to be concerned.
No, definitely. We're gonna start trying to wrap this puppy up. No, listen. Obviously, this is something we can come back and touch on,
Hmm.
multiple times. I think this is something we're gonna have to come back because
Yeah,
it's gonna continue to
evolve.
evolve, and we're
Hmm.
gonna continue to unpack different things. The one thing I always try to leave the audience with something, um, something that they can put their hands on and kind of move forward with, and not to be caught up in the fear and the frenzy.
Hmm.
You know, um, at the end of the day, Chat GPT is not perfect. The thing, and at the end of the day, it's a tool like anything else. You can use uh, a gun to protect yourself, or you can use to rob somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like you can use a gate to protect yourself or lock somebody. It all depends on how you use it, and and AI is no different. I think that you should educate yourself and become aware of the technology. Very difficult to do that because if you don't have a base understanding of how these things work,
And what it
it's
is.
like it's like it's like wireless headphones. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people know exactly how Bluetooth works? You know what I'm saying? Like, they know their core, but they connect. Like, you just use them though.
Hmm.
And so that's a difficult thing without having a base understanding of how these things work, to really understand their capabilities and things of that nature. I do think that at the end of the day, this is one thing that I know for sure that will always hold, is that you have the power to choose. You choose how you want to use this technology. You choose when you want to pick it up, when you want to put it down. You have the power over your own life. You know what I mean? And so, uh, whereas like I said, I think it's important to uh, explore the technology.
Hmm.
It's not going nowhere. It's gonna be used, and I think just like people got used to using cell phones, and just like people, grandpas and grandmas on social media now, posting pictures.
They're so cute too, like
They're
the
so
photos they
cute.
take.
They're so cute. Like I said, I mean, I think that people will become much more accustomed, and AI will become much more user friendly as they continue to develop the
Hmm.
technology. Um, you don't have to be afraid of it. Just be aware of it. Just be mindful. That's all. And at the end of the day, always make sure that you never lose sight of yourself. I mean, uh, as we like I said, we're gonna come back with another part. One of the things I really want to discuss um, is the beauty of our imperfections. I think that that's something that people, that's not a discussion that people generally have. Uh, but I think that one of the most valuable things that we will have as human beings moving forward as this continues to unfold is our imperfections. Like, that's what will give us variance. That's what will cause us to be unique, be valuable. I'll expound on that on another episode. But um, like I said, whoever's listening, like, you're still you. You still in control of your life, of your mind. You know what I mean? What you think, how you think. Take the time to unplug and just
Hmm.
ponder those things, and always stay connected to who you are. That's the episode for today. Unless you want to have a little quick something you want to try to drop on.
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
just I'd
you
say
got something.
something a little quick, but um I think it's important to just you said it beautifully, stay connected with yourself. It's important to just remember who you are and spend some time just being with you, you know? You're perfect the way that you are. As odd as that might sound and as uncomfortable as that may feel, you are perfect the way that you are. And no program can or should make you feel otherwise. So I think that that's a good way to walk away from this scary stuff.
And with that being said, um, that's our show for today. We want to thank you for tuning in. We want to tell you and hope that you stay safe, stay blessed, and above all else, stay human. We out.